Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Today Show. Now, our next guest is the founder of the National Hufaz Association. He memorized the Holy Quran by the age of 11, studied Tajweed and Qiraat in Egypt, Jordan and Morocco, and is currently studying the Sabah Qira, the 7 different ways of recital. He is a qualified secondary school teacher and has a law degree, an LLB in honours in LLB, I should say, and is a qualified solicitor by profession. He has also represented the UK in various Quran competitions and has also recently established Quran Movement UK, which is an online platform aimed at involving youngsters and spreading the love of the Quran. With an extensive 15 years of experience in teaching Hifz classes across East London, he served as the principal of the North London Mosque Trust Madrasa and oversaw the development and progress of the Quran and Islamic Studies curriculum. Now, very warm welcome to the show. We introduce Qari Jasat. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I was just reading through all the sort of titles that you have, and mashallah, it goes from all the Quranic studies to a teacher to the law side of things. I have to ask before we go into it, how do you manage everything?
That's the question I get asked a lot. Alhamdulillah, I have been multitasking. Allah's given me a lot of barakah over the years. Initially, I did start the legal career, but I went into teaching. And just been enjoying my teaching and the Quranic work that I do, alhamdulillah.
Wonderful. Now, we will be talking about your 2 amazing books that we have in front of us. Tell us a little bit about how that journey started. So we're talking about all these different elements that you have, but you've also you authored 2 books.
Yeah. So alhamdulillah, this journey came about. So I founded the National Hufaz Association UK 2016. I used to always get asked questions regarding Hifz. We've done a lot of work over the years, and alhamdulillah, we're the leading organisation in the UK when it comes to memorising Quran. So it's kind of all the work collated from there, all the FAQs, all the advices I've given. The first book came out from there when I thought, you know what, there's nothing centralised for people that want to memorise the Quran. People look at journals, they look at the Quran. I thought, why not put it together into like a very concise way? So that's how the first book came about. Coincidentally, I actually got the book published in March 2020 last year, just before lockdown. So lockdown, alhamdulillah, was a big kind of advantage for me because a lot of people started to memorize the Quran during lockdown. And that's how it came about, really, from the first book, alhamdulillah.
So we actually do have a clip of your second book. So let's have a look at that to give everyone a little bit of a taste of what that second book holds.
And for many years, we've been relying on Tajweed books, Qaida, and other supplementary books to help us teach the Quran. In fact, we recently undertook a focus group survey with over 50 teachers and parents who teach the Quran, and they claimed throughout the study they needed more support to help teach the Quran. Some of you may have seen my first book. How is this book any different? Well, this book is the perfect daily companion for teachers and parents. It contains 365 daily tips, and each tip is explained further in a practical way so you can implement this into your classroom. Also, the book contains an additional 52 inspirational teaching quotes of the week to help motivate you further. And there's also a total of 20 sections within the book. Each section has been carefully selected and tailored for Quranic teaching. So it contains sections like, for example, mental health preparation. There's sections talking about teaching Quran to students or learners with special educational needs. And we found that this specific field was very much in demand. And also there's a section on behavior management strategies. And these are just a few of the 20 sections of the book.
That short video was so informative about what the book is about. And one of the things that stood out was the fact that, it's about helping teachers as well as parents. Yeah. Sometimes we undermine the role that parents play. Why is that such an important part in your book?
It's a very good question. And one of the main driving forces behind this new book was, I'm a parent myself. My daughter, alhamdulillah, she's 4 years old. And she's memorizing the Quran slowly. But what I've noticed is there's so many parents who know the Quran or who understand or can connect with the Quran, but struggle to, I think, maybe just due to their busy lifestyle, spending time with their children. So when it comes to the Quran, anyone can teach the Quran. It's not just, you don't have to be a qualified teacher. You don't have to be someone who has an ijazah as such. When a parent sits with a child to teach the Quran, it's so powerful. And the message that comes across as well, and the connection and the bond. So we've kind of centralized it, and you'll see all the contents are interlinked, whether you're a parent or your teacher, it all interlinks together. So that's how we thought those two are our key audiences, parents and teachers. And even for parents, there are parents who teach the Quran separately as well. So it helps them to connect with their children as well, alhamdulillah.
Now, as a child, it's sometimes, it's I would say, easier to perhaps memorize Quran. And for yourself as well, you were quite young when you learned the Quran. Tell us a little bit about that journey of you learning the Quran, and how old were you and how was that journey?
So when I was 6 years old, I memorized most of Juz Amma, and my parents saw that from a young age. I've got an identical twin brother, alhamdulillah. So we started and finished at the same time, alhamdulillah, in Forest Gate up to Lane Mosque. And I initially started when I was about 8 or 9. And then I finished when I was about 11 or 12. So approximately 2 years. It took me about 18 months to memorize the whole Quran, and I stayed on for another year or two for revision. It was hard. I was juggling full-time school, and in the evening would go to madrasa and the morning. So we'd go from 6 to 8 in the morning, 8 to 3 for school, and then 4:30 to 8 o'clock in the evening for madrasa, and on Saturdays as well. So it was a very hectic timetable. But I think the one thing that really drove myself was just the love for the Quran. Allah just gave us that love. And my parents weren't practicing as much as they are now. So alhamdulillah, it's just that love Allah gave from a young age, and engaging with the Quran, listening to recitations of the Imams from the Haram like Sheikh Sudais. He was a big factor, he was a big influence on me at that time as well. So yeah, alhamdulillah, it started from there.
For myself, right, I find it difficult. And, you're talking about this journey from a child. I just want to know how much of, is it still with you? I guess I'm asking is you're 11 and you're an adult now. And how does it stay with you, I guess? Yeah.
It's harder now than before because I have to make even more time now. Before it was easy because you'd go to the madrasa, you'd go to your school, you know exactly how many hours you're in the class for. So you had your allocated time slot. Now you have to fit the Quran around your timetable. That is the hard part. Alhamdulillah, I do try. I'm not perfect. There are some days where I may not recite as much as I should be doing. But alhamdulillah, it's still with me today. The main thing for me, the best advice I can give, especially for the men folk and the males that are memorizing the Quran, is leading Taraweeh is so important. That really helps to refresh your memory. And there are women who lead at home with the women folk as well. And again, I think Ramadan is a very important month to rekindle that love. But obviously, we must try to make an effort throughout the year. So yeah, alhamdulillah, as you get older, we were speaking earlier, and we were saying that when it comes to age, it does become more difficult as you get older. But the main thing is never giving up and just keep on going with the Quran.
You've actually sort of touched upon what I was going to ask you next about your first book, which is about helping to memorize the Quran and some of the tips. So you've given us one really good tip about, using Ramadan, and it is the month of the Quran. We've got your book up there now. Another thing, when I'm starting up to try and memorize the Quran, so give me a tip for then, when I'm just starting, I'm like, I've got this intention, what should I do?
Intention is very important. I'm not going to go into intention. The main thing where people really struggle is procrastination. How do I spend consistently 5 minutes, whether it's 5 minutes every day or 10 minutes? What I always say to students, adult students as well, even if you spend 10 minutes reading Quran, keep it something that you can do daily. And trust me, even if you read one verse a day, you don't need to memorize. Some people pressurize themselves. They say, I've memorized Surah Yasin, then Surah Mulk, I've done one juz, I can't go further. That's fine. Do it according to how capable you are. And being a hafiz of one surah or one juz, it's just as good. You'd rather perfect that than memorize the whole Quran and forget it. Just one more advice I'd like to give, especially for us as adults as well, and the youngsters as well. When we understand the Quran, it becomes easy to memorize. So when you understand Arabic, a lot of the Quran is storytelling or key kind of common words that are always mixed in together with the surahs. So when you understand the language, it becomes easier to connect with the Quran. But the main thing, just to summarize, it's literally just making your own timetable that works for you and just sticking to it. I know it's easier said than done.
Yeah, of course.
But
also you sort of prioritize those 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whichever you
have to.
In the same sort of way, you've given us some tips for memorizing the Quran. Now, if I was a teacher or a parent, what's the sort of the main tip you might say in terms of teaching the Quran?
The main tip for teaching the Quran, every child is different. Students that are low ability, high ability, patience, and I would say really understanding your students. Sometimes I feel there are students who come away from the Quran because of a negative experience with a teacher. And it has happened to many people in the past where I've dealt with instances as well. So I think the main thing is really trying to understand who your students are, trying to, when it comes to hifz, it's a unique teaching field. You're not, for example, helping someone memorize the Quran, you're not doing it for them, you're coaching them. And remember, as a teacher, you're a coach and a mentor as well. So try to guide them. And it's not just about teaching them how to read the Quran. How can my student implement the Quran into his or her life? So.
Tell us a little bit about what you might be currently working on, what your future plans are, and of course, where people can find more about these books. So
this, alhamdulillah, I developed a brand from the first book. The second book came out this year, alhamdulillah, just a few months ago. So getmy365.co.uk. It's a very simple website. You can purchase the books from there. Alhamdulillah, I'm working on an exciting project, just kind of in the pipeline, unofficially. It's actually the last book of the series. So it's called 365 Tips to Help You Understand the Quran.
I absolutely love it. So you know what, you got the full series, right?
So that's going to be the grand finale. And my wife's always saying to me, when's the last book? When's the last book? But subhanAllah, the Quran is something that you can never stop loving the Quran. Of course. It's a deep ocean of knowledge, and you just want to try and get as much as you can. So that's I haven't started writing it, but I've been in talks with a few people.
It's in the pipeline, and we'll very much look forward to having you back and maybe talking about that book to us.
Definitely.
But for now, I have to say thank you so much. It's been inspiring, and I wish you all the best because it's such a needed guidance, I would say. But for now, we are going to a short break. And when we come back, we'll have some more tasty pumpkin recipes for you, straight from our kitchen with Chef Rahman. But for now, it's a quick break, but we'll see you soon.